what's up YouTube, Mellow Matter. So we are finally at the end of them, and we are covering the last two nations of Clan Collection early lists. This is for Clan Collection 5 and 6, obviously. So we have got all of the Zoo and Megalanica clans to cover. And I do want to preface this, obviously, with these are example lists. They're just meant as a basic beginner's point. You can obviously adjust them how you see fit. Don't take my word as gospel. And just have fun with the stuff, honestly. So we are going to begin with the Megalanica stuff. And first one up on the list is a Grand Blue. So Grand Blue got an addition to the 7 Seas package in the forms of GUI and the Grade 2 that actually does more milling for the deck, so you can turbo your deck a bit faster. So really nice from him. GUI obviously gains 2k for each. Is it 2k or 3k for the GUI? GUI gains 3k for each of your 7 Cs in your drop and or bind, and obviously you can then sacrifice off your actual markers to then call. Is it call or draw? Call cards. So you can sacrifice a treasure marker to then call cards. So obviously you're gaining more advantage out of it as well, which is really nice. So having the markers as an additional tool outside of just being there for Night Mist's restand and power gains and intercepting, really nice. All in all, a very strong deck to come out of Clan Collection. You'll obviously see this used in the fights I did with Orange, which I will obviously link one of the ones up here. But all in all, really fun deck. Next one up on the list is Bermuda. So Bermuda got support in the form of duos, and duos are working like with Prisms off the bind zone, but this is more a controlled working off the bind and matching like you used to do with duos. So Rake's obviously got the skill of end of the battle she attacks. You can discard a card from your hand, and then if the card you discarded matches the card in your bind zone, you can call that card from bind zone to rearguard circle. Rake then stands herself and gives herself a force marker if your opponent's on grade 3. So all in all, it's a nice little package there. You've got Roan as well, that adds cards to hand that match cards in your bind zone to help fulfill that condition. She also then gains power based on the number of cards in your bind. But we do need ways to actually put stuff in the bind. So that's where the grade 1 Duo Pretty Horn Ural comes in. Because when she's placed on the Vanguard circle, she'll actually choose a card from your deck and bind it, which is really strong. Combining that with the old support we had of Legendary Prism Duo Nectaria, who also has the Duo name, she can then obviously bind herself from your hand, to then choose a normal unit from your deck and bind it as well. So obviously you're helping building up that bind zone quite nicely. Ural does also come with a nice bit of cycle of being able to return, when placed on rearguard circle, return stuff from the drop zone back to deck. But utilising that package even further, we have obviously got Zeria to help funnel the deck further, looking for your combo pieces, and Aqua to then obviously bounce up our Urals, so we can then reuse our Urals again. Really strong stuff. All in all, a very strong mechanic, and can't wait to see how it actually tests in the format. And the final one up from Megalanica is Ripples. So Ripples did very much stay to their old school pastime of standing your rear guards when this attacks and gaining power. So we have got the main grade 3 being Limit Break-esque of he restands all your rear guards if you're at 4 damage, restands 1 if you've got 1 damage, and if you've got the grade 2 Ripple in your soul, he'll give anything that's restood power gain. On top of that, he's also got the skill of Soul Blasting 1 to check top 5 and choose a card from among them and call to rearguard circle, so you're building up nice little bits of momentum with the deck. Combining this off, obviously, with the multi-attack engine you've got with Coral Assault, which will gain power. You've got Pursuit Assault as just a generic good support. And then combining it also with, I think it's Valeria from the last wave, who gains power and also has the ability to snipe rearguards. all in all, very interesting package and interesting to see how it'll do in the actual meta. Moving on from Megalanica, we are now moving on to Zoo. And we are starting off with the Giraffe package. So Giraffe got the reverse in this set, and it's a very strong one at that. The fact of it, when it attacks, it forces your opponent to call cards, at least one card from hand, to rearguard circle. But then if they called less than the number of grade 3s you've got in your soul, Giraffe can then restand. So you get having the pressure of you've got to force your opponent to call more cards, otherwise you're getting a free Vanguard restand. Really nice stuff. He also then says whenever your opponent calls stuff from their hand to rearguard circle during your turn, you can lock a card and give your front row 15k. So really nice pressure. Combining this off with Antlion, who came out in the very first wave for Mech and Colony, who can then Soul Blast a grade 3 to then gain 10k in a crit. Your opponent can't call cards from hand to Guardian Circle, makes it a really nice finisher. There is also the grade 2 and grade 1 that were machinings that are in Mega Colony Battler, sorry. There are also support waves in it, supports for Giraffe in this set. And they all work along. Well, the grade 2 works on calling when opponent calls something from hand to rearguard circle, and you then stun it as well on top. And can then also revive itself from the drop zone, which is a nice bonus. And then the grade 1 moves itself from Guardian Circle to Rearguard Circle if your opponent's got rest stuff, and gains shield based on your opponent's rest cards. All in all, Mega Colony's gained more tools towards the stun mechanic, and it's nice to see them finally develop to actually have a mechanic of their own. And can't wait to see if it actually holds up in the meta. Next one up on the list is Great Nature. So Great Nature's support this time is also their reverse in the forms of Leopold. And now Leopold does keep to the good old lottery mechanic, but instead of where Isabel says you get both results, Leopold says cards milled this turn get both the monster, the normal unit, and trigger unit attribute applied to them. So if you mill a trigger, it's treated as both. If you mill a normal unit, it's treated as both. But the bonus with Leopold is he's also got a skill for if you mill an order. In the fact of if you mill an order from his skill, you then would gain an additional force marker, Axel marker, but you then also, it would still be treated as a normal unit and a trigger unit. But the example list we've got here doesn't include that, for the fact of obviously that is very much gambling based, and it's not worth it in the long run to add orders just to use that skill. But the ability to still, when you mill a monster, a normal unit with his skill, you're getting a check top 5, calling 2 units from amongst a rearguard circle. And if you mill a trigger, your front row is gaining 5k and he's gaining a crit. Still does give a lot of pressure for that. Combining that off, obviously, we got the Tester Fox engine, who searches out Researcher Fox, gives it power, and then retires it. And then, obviously, Researcher Fox, then, when retired, you can then search for a card that shares the same name as your Vanguard in your deck and add it to your hand, giving you the consistent rerides to get more Axels generated. Obviously, Leopold's skill to give the lottery also applies with the Research Fox. So obviously, if you mill something off of Leopold and then put it back in one of those cards back into deck with Test Fox, because obviously he returns 2 cards back to deck, one needing to be a trigger and normal unit. If you put one of the cards you've milled after using Leopold's skill back into deck, it still retains the fact of it was a trigger and a normal unit, so therefore fulfills the cost off of just that. Obviously, Leopold's skill for giving the cards milled isn't just for the cards he mills. It works for your Leopolds, it works for your Binoculuses and your Lemurs, so everything milled will give you both effects. All in all, very fun deck, and it's showing up quite a bit on the JP side, so can't wait to see what it does on the English side. Wrapping up now, we have got Gladiol for Neonectars. So Gladiol is another plant token based deck, but this one is more of an aggressive calling over your plant tokens to get multiple attacks. So obviously, Gladiole returns cards back to deck to spawn tokens, and when she attacks, you're then calling cards, 2 cards from hand, 2 rearguard circles. But the reason that it's token, you get bonus skills off the tokens is the grade 2 and grade 1 that say when placed on the token circle, one draws a card, the other one gains power. All in all, really nice. But then you're combining that obviously with Wisteria as well, who generates tokens mid-battle phase. And Gladiole also says that the fact that the tokens spawned are actually 10k tokens, and do gain the ability to intercept. So obviously you can use them defensively as well as offensively. So nice little package here to work quite nicely. We've got Sweetberry and Flower Carpet to carry on helping generate tokens, along with the actual bit of guard restrict in the Dragon, who says when boosted by grade 0, opponent has to battle door for 2 cards. So I have to call 2 cards from hand to Guardian Circle. All in all, very interesting deck. Can't wait to see what they do with it. And that was the last of the Clan Collection decks. So now that's done, we are going to be moving back more into normal deck profiles again. I have got the last of the Lyrical 2s to finish up, along with I've got some new B-Series decks to go through in the forms of End of Stage alongside Night Meadow, because I've now actually got my Night Meadow package in the English side. So going to be interesting to see how that all goes through. But if you haven't done so already, please do like, comment, subscribe. It very much does help the channel. Trying to push forward to that 500 as soon as possible. Just wait and see how we go. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye!